released following the Seattle game, so Wooden is back as the starter at free safety. He began preseason as the starter and then injured his neck. That pass was intended for Irving Fryer. Well, Ty Detmer not able to connect with Fryer, and the Dolphins take over at their 20-yard line. And Abdul-Jabbar once again having difficulty accelerating. Ronnie Dixon, the 3-year man from Cincinnati, getting the raps on Abdul-Jabbar.
And Ray Rhodes has a way of keeping Ronnie Dixon alive. You know, he was out of football in 1994, and he was driving a truck in North Carolina, and every time he has a bad day at practice or an off game, he'll find a little bottle of No-Dos in front of his locker. Ray Rhodes reminding him how tough it is to stay awake on those over, cross-country hauls.
Now that is motivation.
That's motivation. Both coaches are very good at that.
Second down and 13 from the 17-yard line. A deep drop now by Erickson, and then he lost his balance. He slipped, but Red Hall will receive credit for the sack.
Red Hall is an interesting story. He missed 13 games last year with blood clots in his lung. As Craig Erickson sets up, his footing is going to give way. The first time we've seen any problem with the footing, even though we had a lot of rain here yesterday. He's really just moving around, and his foot slips out from under him. I don't think that had anything to do with the surface. As he goes down, though, Red Hall is going to get credit for another sack.
3.5 for the season for Hall. And this crowd urging the defensive unit on. It's a third down and 20. Back at the 10. Erickson stepping up. Erickson pegging one, and he's able to complete out across the 40-yard line. O.J. McDuffie. A 36-yard pass play, and that gets the Dolphins out of the hole.
O.J. McDuffie over the middle. You know, when that ball's in the air that long, there are a lot of defenders that can get to it. Got to keep your concentration. You're going to see him come across the middle, and the defenders are all in zone. You watch, all their heads are looking back towards the quarterback. They see the ball in the air. McDuffie, though, is taking away the angle of anybody coming in and making the quick hit on him. Big play coming out of the back of the, almost backed up on that one.
That was a third down and 20, and O.J. continues his mastery on third down. First and 10 at the 46. Erickson stepping up again, and once again a beautiful throw. Randall Hill has the first down and some more.
I started to say, Craig, run the ball. You had 2 chances earlier that you could have made first downs. In that case, first down or maybe yardage. It was a first down call. But he keeps his eyes down the field. The other thing you notice with a good quarterback, he never takes his hand or his fingers off the laces. Let's watch Craig as he looks down the field and searches. A little token fake right there on the play. He's looking. Now his head and eyes are still up, but he never takes his fingers off the laces, so he's ready to throw the ball if he sees an open receiver.
Yeah, that's a 20-yard pickup at first down at the Eagle. 32, 6:20 remaining in this first half. Now a good hold for Abdul-Jabbar. And he's hit down by Hollis Thomas and Greg Jefferson. Marv Albert with Sam Weish at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. We come up on 6 minutes to go in this first half. The Eagles striking early. 2 touchdown passes from Detmer to the one-time Dolphin Fryer. Off to the 14-0 lead. Nedney able to connect on a 37-yard field goal, and now the Dolphins on the move following the interception by Wooden. Here's Abdul-Jabbar with a first down. Willis and Zordich combine to make the stop. Both clubs come in with records of 4-2. Both teams without their starting quarterback. Rodney Peete is out for the season. Dan Marino went down with the ankle injury, a broken right ankle. But he is back as the third emergency quarterback. Bernie Kosar is number 2. There is an outside shot. And, of course, if Jimmy Johnson went to Marino, it would undoubtedly be in the fourth quarter because otherwise the other 2 guys can't return. And again, Abdul-Jabbar off the good opening. Able to pick up yardage. Willis and Woodard combined to make the stop. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the rookie from UCLA, emerging from Jimmy Johnson's training camp doghouse. Jimmy apparently didn't like his practice habits at first. Got off to the good start. In fact, AFC Player of the Week following his performance against New England when he ran for 115 yards. But recently things have slowed down. Certainly the absence of Marino has contributed to that. It's a 2nd down and 5 at the 16. Abdul-Jabbar picking his way, running well. Trying to get to the marker. Stopped at the 11 by the combination of Zordich and Dawkins.
This drive has the same look that the Philadelphia Eagles had in their first 2 drives. It looks like Miami is pretty much moving the ball at will. They're running the ball both sides. They're completing their passes, and when they get into that tough situation, 3rd and 20, Craig Erickson comes up with a big play to O.J. McDuffie. But Abdul-Jabbar off the right side, you just see movement by the offensive line against the Philadelphia Eagles. He doesn't really make any contact with anybody until he's well down the field. Just short. Not a bad situation, though, at the just outside the 10-yard line right here. 3rd down and inches like that. Your hope here is that you don't just make the 1st down, which leaves you with a 1st and goal at the 10 or just inside. You'd like to make 3 or 4 yards, 4 or 5 yards right here, so you've got a 1st and goal, just outside the 5-yard line. Much easier situation.
So the 9th play of the drive coming up. Robert Wilson has checked in at fullback. 3rd and inches. Quarterback sneak. And we'll have to wait and see where they place it.
Well, there goes my strategy right out the window. That's why I'm up here. Really, my point was that you don't want to start too many 1st and 10 situations at the 10-yard line, but getting the 1st down and keeping the drive alive was more important.
And the Dolphins do pick it up.
And Jimmy Johnson, I think, is showing it's not really conservative. It is just a smart game plan. Control the ball. Keep your defense off the field as much as you can. Use your running game, which is good, and keep Craig Erickson in positive situations where he doesn't have to carry the team. Punts aren't all that bad. I don't expect him to punt from here, though.
It is a 1st and 10, just outside the 10. Abdul-Jabbar trying to go wide. He's running well, though. Zordich and Dawkins making the stop. Getting back to Dan Marino, Sam, I think that Jimmy Johnson's plan, depending on how Dan felt, and the feeling is that he will have pain the next 3 or 4 weeks no matter what. Yesterday when we were talking to Jimmy, he said he wanted to have him as the number 2 quarterback. I think he would rather go into the Dallas game feeling that Marino has had some work rather than just put him in there, because he'll be ready for next week.
He'll be ready, but he gets 1/4 of the practice where he did this past week, so he's going to have some work, even though he doesn't get into this. He gets some practice time.
Well, the Eagles did a good job to close off Abdul-Jabbar. 7 rushes in a row for Miami. And even with Marino at quarterback, this was the new philosophy for the Dolphins. Jimmy Johnson looking more to the run. And certainly the case with Craig Erickson in there.
Well, I think we showed that just a moment ago when we were talking about Abdul-Jabbar's average per carry. But when Marino's in the game, the threat of the pass is much bigger than it is when you've got a different quarterback, especially when you've got a new different quarterback, a quarterback that's new to the team.
2 minutes remaining now, 1st half. When we come back, a 3rd down and 6. Well, following the interception by Sean Wooden, the Dolphins driving back the other way and have the ball for 6 minutes and 50 seconds. It's a 3rd down and 6 from just outside the 6-yard line with 2 minutes left. 1st half, Erickson looking, throwing, and it is a touchdown. Randall Hill rolling into the end zone. We had to wait for the official indication. So Randall Hill catching it inside the 1 and then able to roll his way because he was untouched. And it appears Jimmy Johnson is going for the 2-pointer.
Shotgun formation. Craig Erickson has plenty of time, as he has all day. Ball thrown low. You want to keep the ball thrown below the waist in a situation like this, so there's no chance of it being tipped. And of course, when you catch the ball and nobody touches you, you can roll in for a touchdown. Let's think about this. The Dolphins intercepted in the end zone just 6.5 minutes ago, and now they drive down and score right before the half. Big turn of events.
14-9 the score. Miami is 0 for 3 in 2-point conversions. Jarris McPhail is on the field. Erickson throwing, and he has it. Picks up the 2 points, combining with the tight end, Troy Drayton. So with 1:55 remaining, first half will step away. The Dolphins controlling the ball for 6 minutes and 55 seconds. 12 plays, 80 yards, capped off by the 6-yard touchdown pass play. And here's Derek Witherspoon on the return. Good coverage by Miami as he fights his way out to the 35. A 15-yard return. Tim Jacobs, Chris Singleton on the stop.
Greg Erickson finishing a 7-minute drive with a touchdown pass that put Miami back into this ball game. Randall Hill making the catch. Dan Marino seeing the action on the field right in this ball game. And, of course, Jimmy Johnson immediately getting the word from upstairs, the best thing to do, go for 2 points, and they did.
And the Eagles on first down go to Ricky Waters. 1:45 and counting remaining. In this first half, it is now the Eagles with a 14-11 lead. Jimmy Johnson reacting to the touchdown and checking upstairs with his coaches, and obviously the decision is go for the 2.
The coaches upstairs are in a calmer state. They've got everything in front of them. They got that chart, when to go for 2 and when not to. They get the word to Jimmy.
Second down and 8. And Detmer able to connect over the middle for the first down. Chris T. Jones with his first reception, met by Zach Thomas. Eagles in the hurry-up. Clock is running. They do have their 3 timeouts remaining. Miami with 2 timeouts left as we come up on 1 minute left in the half. And again, the completion by Denver was looked sharp. Irving Fryer out at midfield, met by the right corner, Calvin Jackson for Fryer. That is his 4th catch, and a timeout has been called. Timeout taken by the Eagles. Well, coming up, the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC halftime report. Greg Gumbel, Chris Collinsworth, Joe Gibbs, Mike Ditka will bring you all the scores and highlights of today's action around the league, plus an interview with Jerry Rice. That is all ahead at halftime. We have 55 seconds remaining in the second quarter.
They still have 2 timeouts left, the Philadelphia Eagles do. So do the Miami Dolphins. The Eagles on their last 2 drives didn't have much success. 3 plays and a punt, and then 5 plays and then the interception, which became very important because Miami had the 15-yard penalty, gave field position to the Eagles. They drove down, then the interception in the end zone, and Miami, of course, with the 7-minute drive to score just before or just at the 2-minute mark. And now Philadelphia.
Second and 1 as we resume. And Detmer finds Waters, and he has the first down inside the 40-yard line. The tackle by Thomas. So Ricky Waters with his 2nd catch of the day. Ray Rhodes telling us that he wanted to use Waters more frequently as a receiver out of the backfield. First down at the Dolphin 38-yard line. Denver getting the good protection. A flag is down as Waters makes the catch again, and again he's greeted by Thomas.
When they look at the film, they're probably going to say to themselves they should have called timeout after Waters' catch just a moment ago. The holding, of course, will stop the clock.
Hands to the face by the offense, number 73. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
73, the right guard, Lester Holmes. 4th year out of Jackson State.
We get a chance to look at it. That is illegal. You can't do it. Now, if your hand goes up there and it slides around, there's a lot of contact going on. You pull it away quickly, they're not going to call it. But he left that one up there, and of course, with our stop action, he left it up there a long time. Yes, he did. Probably wasn't quite that long.
You will point out, not that long.
Yeah.
All right, 1st and 20. Denver after the pump. Short.
Actually, just as he lets it go, Ricky Waters turns upfield, never sees the ball coming, ends up falling harmlessly to the ground. This is the 2nd time we've seen a quarterback slip. We saw Craig Erickson in the last drive. Watch Ty Detmer. His back foot hits. Now, the problem, look at the angle of his lean. Quarterbacks or anybody, when you're changing direction and when you drop back, you drop straight back, plant, and change direction, come forward. You want your weight over your plant foot. He was leaning so far, the foot slipped out from under him.
It is a 2nd down and 20. Denver's had a very fine first half, though. 10 of 14, 107 yards. And he'll add to that with the completion to Chris T. Jones, who was able to get out of bounds to stop the clock with 21 seconds remaining in the half. Well, coming up next on most of these NBC stations, Game 2 of our NFL doubleheader, most of you will see the Denver Broncos hosting the Baltimore